Hey everybody, it's Mike Jeffers, ChicagoJazz.com, and this is episode 102 of Talking Jazz with Mike Jeffers. My guest today, the one and only, the chef in the kitchen, the man, the legend, Tom Muellner. Pianist Tom Muellner is in the house. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Yes. Now he is on a tight schedule because he's going to a gig, so we can only talk for like 2 hours.
Yeah.
Okay,
right.
Perfect. He actually already had a nice Italian sausage. No, what was it, a Polish?
No, the Polish, yeah.
The Polish?
Yeah. It was here. Normally it was, but I ate it. Sorry.
Yeah, he ate the prop, but that's all right.
It's okay.
So I've wanted to have you on the show for a very long time, but I'm glad that we waited to get over that 100 episode thing because every single episode from here on out is in triple digits. Mm-hmm. And you're one of my favorite guys to play with. Let's just start.
The feeling is mutual.
Fun fact, Tom was the first guy I played with on New Year's Eve after I came back from college. We played at the Wilmette Golf Course for New Year's Eve with Jen Zaitis.
Right.
Zayas.
Jennifer Zayas.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was a long time ago. And
it was a wedding, wasn't it? A wedding?
No, it was New Year's Eve.
Oh, New Year's Eve.
New Year's Eve.
Oh, yeah, right. You said
it was
that.
New Year's Eve, yeah. And I first met Tom at Chambers. Back in the 90s.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Back in the 90s when we all used to hang out at the Chambers. Rusty Jones was running the jam session with Scott Holman and Brian Sandstrom. It was that trio.
Right.
And so anyways, I've known Tom for a long time. And then, of course, we have the world-famous Chicago Jazz Trio number 1. Tom is in that trio, and we play a lot of different corporate gigs around town and a lot of different things. And, of course, he has been playing all over the city, all over the country for many, many years. So with that setup,
yes.
Where do we go from here?
I don't know.
Well, now you used to be in sales, right? So you were playing piano and in sales?
I was director of advertising for an electronics company for 20 years. But I started playing when I was a kid. You know,
okay.
I was my first time on stage, I think I was 10, and I think I was playing drums. I always played piano, but the piano was at home. It was a big upright that it was in my grandmother's apartment downstairs. But I learned on that, but I actually played drums for a while, and I played guitar, and I played bass. I even sang, but my instrument was always piano. And so I've been doing it a long time.
Yeah. Well, and then you left the job. You retired. You finished that up years ago, and you just decided to start
in the 90s, actually, 94, 95, something like that.
And then you just decided to go straight into just playing and
full time, and I've been poor ever since. No, and it's been great. It's been a wonderful experience.
So now you've played with a lot of really heavy duty musicians, right?
I've been lucky.
You've played at all the different clubs around town.
Yes.
What was like one of your first gigs in Chicago with you're like, holy cow, this is where I want to be, this is who I want to be playing with, and this is happening?
Wow, that's a good question. Well, sometimes, let's face it, there's a lot of gigs you do that are not always ideal, like it's a loud room or the acoustics aren't perfect. Every now and then, though, you get one of those gigs where the piano's right, the piano's in tune. You got someone great like Eric Schneider or, and Kelly Sill on bass or whatever, and it's just one of those nights where it all comes together. Now, I guess playing at the Green Mill and the Jazz Showcase, places like that, I have played at Winters too, which is a wonderful club. Those are great places because the people do listen to you, as opposed to the restaurant gigs, which help pay the rent and so on. But
well, it's also with the restaurant gigs and stuff. Like you go back to the '90s, go back to the '80s. There were a lot more clubs back in the '80s than there are now, specifically for jazz.
True.
But the restaurants, they look for that atmosphere. They want to create some energy in the room. They want to keep people there. They want to have a nice night out.
I get they have a business to run and all that, and music isn't always a priority. As long as they're nice people, and generally I don't have any problems
Yeah.
doing whatever I have to do. I'm a professional, and I try to be a professional at all times.
Now you used to do, and I don't know if you still do or not. I don't know if you've done it in a while, but you used to do every year a Bill Evans night over at the Green Mill. Now Bill Evans is a huge influence on your
Yes,
playing
yeah,
and
absolutely.
on your music.
And he was I knew him and hung out with him a few times in Chicago, and he was definitely a mentor of mine. But I haven't done that actually in a while. I don't know. I would maybe do it again. It's a lot of work actually, and those are big shoes to fill. But we did a nice thing, Spider Saloff was part of that. He was a dear friend and a great singer. And she would sing "Turn Out the Stars" and some of those tunes.
Mm-hmm.
She used to call that tune "The Beast" because it's not an easy tune. Bill didn't write music with singers in mind generally, and certainly "Waltz for Debbie" and those kind of tunes.
Yeah.
Funkaleero.
Why was he such an influence on your playing? I mean, obviously he's a killing player, but what really stuck out to
Well,
you that grabbed you?
Maybe because I love classical music and I could hear that classical influence, but just because of his subtlety, and certainly and probably most importantly his harmonic sense. I just heard the way he voiced his chords, and I'm certainly influenced by other. I love Oscar Peterson too, but I can't play like Oscar Peterson. I don't have those kind of chops, and I can relate more to Bill. Mm-hmm. And Bill had small hands like I do. Keith Jarrett has small hands too, so Bill tended to play more in clusters and get these harmonic things that I can do easier than Oscar, who had these wide open hands.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe that's part of it. And then it just appealed to me. I heard this music, and it just touched me, touched my heart.
It's that sound. It's that whole feel probably, and
Yeah.
the groove and all that, and everything that he put behind the music and everything. Now you also play with a lot of vocalists. Mm-hmm. You're almost like one of the first call pianists for a lot of vocalists in Chicago.
Yes.
And
yeah.
You also write charts. And
I
you
do.
put arrangements together, so you work on a lot of
Yeah.
different facets with that. You
Yes.
seem to like playing with vocalists. Now, some piano players and some other people in the music world, maybe the cup of tea is not backing up a vocalist, but for you, you enjoy doing it. Now, what are some of the things that you have to think about when you're accompanying a vocalist as opposed to playing with a trio or playing with a quartet?
Well, I guess there are differences. You have to leave a little more space so that, and the way I look at it is the piano is like a cushion around that melodic instrument of the human voice, and it's many years ago I wasn't fond of playing with singers, but it was me. It was my problem because in order to play with singers you have to know a lot of tunes, and you have to be able to play in all kinds of different keys, and working with singers got that together for me. I mean, it helped me to grow as a musician. And, you learn all these tunes that you maybe would not have played. So the American Standard Songbook becomes paramount in this endeavor.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't want people to forget that I play with instrumentalists, too. I love to play with a great saxophone player, or I love to play trio. I don't get a chance to do that as often as I should.
Yeah.
But
that's one of the things, right? I mean, because as a piano player, you have to really shift your brain when you're accompanying a singer as opposed to playing a trio or playing a quartet. And some guys they don't have that thought process to be able to shift over.
Yeah,
right?
I don't think it's a big shift. I just think it's just a matter of being sensitive to who you're playing with. I always think of Hank Jones as the ultimate accompanist to a vocalist or an instrumentalist. I think I asked James Moody once. I think it was James Moody, and I asked him who his favorite piano player was, and he said Hank Jones. And that's because Hank was so about being a team guy, and I really believe in that thing, Mm-hmm. I mean, I certainly want to have fun. I want to groove. I want to swing. But, I believe in the team effort more than anything.
Yeah.
And it sounds that people can perceive it. Even non-jazz people can perceive the difference when you have people who are playing as a team. and it's nice to play with people who you're good friends with, like when we play together, and and Eric and Art Davis and a lot of the people I get to play with. I've been doing some gigs at Marie's Pizza with Art Davis once a month, and sometimes Stu Miller on bass, or sometimes Jim Cox. But I have a ball playing with Art. I've been playing with him for decades.
Yeah.
He's on my one and only recording under my own name. So yeah, and just
Well, and that's the thing, right? I mean, you play, 6-7 days a week sometimes. I mean, you've been pretty busy, whether it's a corporate gig, whether it's a club gig, whether it's here, there, a festival. But, all these different combinations of musicians and things. Now, you have like one of the hottest jam sessions in the city, Monday nights at the Serbian
true.
Village, right there on Irving Park Road. What's the address? Do you remember?
3144 West Irving. It's right by, slightly east of Kedzie.
And we're just past 5-year mark on that. Is that right?
No, we started our 8th year.
8th year. Holy
in
cow.
January.
Wow.
So we completed 7 years.
Yeah. So 8 years doing the jam session at the Serbian Village. And that's one of those things, like, I've been to jam sessions. I know you've been to jam sessions. Running a jam session is a little bit of an art as well.
Oh, it's not easy, because you have to keep an eye on who comes in, and if 5 saxophone players come in, you can't have them all up there at once.
Right.
Although we've done that too, and that's not bad. So you got to keep track of things. But the good thing about this jam session, it's pretty high level, and the quality of musicians that come in is pretty high level. It's one of the best jam sessions I've ever been a part of, even though it's my own. But it is a good one. And what I love about it is we do a first set with the house band and a guest every week.
Yep.
And that's And then what's cool is the musicians who want to jam come in and they listen, and a lot of younger players are coming in and they learn, the art of quartet playing, that kind of stuff.
Well, and also, there's different jam sessions around town, but this one I think is unique because you've got the different generations of jazz musicians there. So it's
right.
If you're a young guy and you're used to going to jam sessions that you're just out of college, or you're in your late 20s and you're going to jam sessions and you're playing with all the same guys that you play with all the time, you're playing a certain number of tunes and a certain set number of tunes, and that's what you're doing.
Right.
But when you walk in and then there's like somebody in their 70s, somebody in their 50s, somebody in their 60s, they're calling tunes in all different keys, and it really puts you on your toes, I think. And there's not a lot of... When I was coming up in the 90s, there were a lot of those jam sessions still happening, but these days I don't think there are.
Well, it seems like there's a bunch of them, though. It seems like every night of the week there's something.
I mean, but I'm talking about generational jam sessions where you get like Larry Novak
Oh,
showing
yeah,
up
that's
and
true. That's
Kelly
true.
and,
You're right. Because, lots of times those sessions are run by younger people, and all these younger people seem to come in.
Right.
Not that I'm old, but...
I didn't say that.
But, no, mine, Larry Novak used to come in quite a bit. Mm-hmm. Certainly Rusty Jones, and... you never, sometimes John Campbell shows up. You never know who's going to show up.
Right.
Sometimes, one night George Flutis and Dennis Carroll and Ron Perillo came in, and Hinda was there, and they played a couple of tunes, So you never know who's going to show up. And then sometimes it's, a combination of different ages, and the youngsters learn. Mm-hmm. Sometimes a younger guy will come in who looks like he's a teenager, and he plays great.
Yeah,
I think it's great that musicians and the younger generation are attending these things and being part of it, but we still need an audience too. So every now and then someone will come in the Serbian, I'll go, "Are you a musician?" They'll say, No, I'm just here for listening." I'm like, "Good, we need you. We need you. We need more listeners."
That's the key. All right, so basically, the Serbian Village, you got a bunch of special guests coming up every Monday night. Starts at what time, 8:30 or 9?
Well, officially 9, but, we tried to make it earlier, and no one comes. So at about 9 o'clock, we're there, and then we wait until there's enough people.
Yeah.
Which is usually 9:20 or so. If there's like a dozen people, then we start playing, you know, so...
But then by the end of the night, there's like 40, 50, 60 people in there. It's amazing.
The place is usually pretty packed.
Yeah.
You know.
That's awesome.
And he has good food, good Serbian food, And
You have to be 21 to go in there? Or is it
no,
a
I don't.
restaurant?
I don't. No, it's a restaurant. Yeah, I think.
Yeah, so it's all ages probably.
Right. Yeah,
Okay.
if accompanied by an adult.
Sure.
But yeah.
Sure. That's great. All right, so Tom,
Yes.
I appreciate you being on the show.
Oh, my pleasure.
Did we cover everything?
I think we covered everything.
Yeah, the good talk.
Yeah.
Obviously, more information at tommujazz.com.
Yeah.
And how often are you working in the Johnny O's kitchen? Is it once, twice a week or something? Is that
Yeah,
usually
just
what it
twice a week. From the 4 a.m. to 9 a.m. shift. Well, right after the Serbian, I sometimes come and work.
Do you? Yeah.
So that's about 3 in the morning, and
You basically just go back there and just cook yourself Polish sausages. And
Yeah,
sit,
I
right?
actually don't work and get paid. I just come and pretend I'm working so I can eat for free.
See?
You know,
More people ought to do that places. It
Yeah.
would make more sense.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for being on the show.
My pleasure, Mikey. I love you, man.
Oh, man, you're the best. And of course, until next time, hopefully we'll see you somewhere on the scene. But if not, we will see you somewhere out on the scene.